Okay, so you were lucky enough to get yourself either an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S. You get home, you plug one of these bad boys in, and you decide to get Game Pass. So you fire up Game Pass, and then you realize that there's over 100 games to play. So in this video here, I want to give you guys a comprehensive list on what I think are the top 10 games that you guys should be playing on Game Pass. And to be honest, I think that you guys should start with the optimized for Series X and S games, because those games are designed to utilize more power from the Series X or S. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so what we got here is Madden NFL 21, which got the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S optimized treatment. So this is obviously Madden NFL 21, which is an American football video game based on the National Football League. This here is developed by EA Tiburon and published by Electronic Arts. So obviously this is a long-standing installment of the Madden NFL series, and it was released on Microsoft Windows and different types of systems such as Xbox One on August 28, 2020, but it's great because it just got an optimized for Series X and S. So this is obviously a sports game which may not cater to everyone, but it has to be mentioned. This is probably the first time that I would actually have to say that this game is almost as close to photorealism as it gets. I mean, the graphics are amazing, the game plays great, it looks great, and it just looks so realistic. So it had to make the list, and I would highly recommend, if you're a sports fan and you like football, this is a must play and a must get on Game Pass. Alright, the next game is The Medium, which is a Xbox exclusive. So The Medium is a psychological horror video game developed by Blooper Team that was released on Microsoft Windows and Xbox Series X and S on January 28, 2021. Although Bloober Team is a smaller developer, they did a fantastic job optimizing this game for the Xbox Series X and S. The Medium uses a third-person perspective with controlled camera angles. This game only runs in 30 FPS, but you know what? For these types of games, you don't really need 60 frames per second. But the game is beautiful, the graphics are great, the environments are super well done. Bloober Team does a really good job building that environment, building that feeling of a great psychological horror with some great scares along the way. But where the medium game really tends to shine is that you become a medium living in two different worlds, the real one and the spirit one. And what actually happens, as you guys can see, is that this screen splits in two and you get to have access to both worlds at the same time. So you have a wider perspective and you can see more clearly that there's no one simple truth to what others perceive. Nothing is what it seems. Everything has another side. So the next game on the list is Outriders, which also got the Xbox Series X and X optimized treatment. So Outriders is a cooperative role-playing third-person video game developed by People Can Fly and published by Square Enix European subsidiary. It was released on April 1st, 2021 for Microsoft, Windows, and other platforms. This game did receive mixed reviews from critics, but it was definitely praised towards all its customization and gameplay. Outriders, being an RPG shooter, really combines brutal and bloody combat with deep role-playing systems. This is including sprawling skill trees and endless gear modifications. There are 4 unique classes to create and to choose from, and obviously the Outriders' unique abilities are as violent as the shooting, with the bloody and gruesome methods for dispatching of enemies. So based on your class, you're gonna have different methods of killing. Alright, the next game is The Touryst, which is an action-adventure puzzle game developed and published by Shin'en Multimedia. An enhanced version of the game released for Xbox Series X and S as a launch title on November 10th, 2020. So this game became available on Game Pass from day one for the Series X and S. The art style is blocky and makes use of what's called voxel art techniques. The game uses a custom engine developed by Shinin, which allows the game to deliver high fidelity graphical effects while still maintaining a smooth frame rate. The art style of this game is like nothing on Game Pass. It's a must play, it's fun, it's colorful, the graphics are amazing, and if you have the Xbox Series X, you'll be able to play this game in 6K upscaled graphics. If you're looking to play a more casual game, look no further, the Touryst is a must play. The next game on the list is Halo, the Master Chief Collection. So Halo, the Master Chief Collection is a compilation of first-person shooter video games in the Halo series, originally released in November 2014 for the Xbox One and later on Microsoft Windows through 2019 to 2020. But the enhanced version was released for the Xbox Series X and S, so the optimized version in November 2020. What a great collection to add to the already amazing Halo games that you guys can re-enjoy on the Xbox Series S and X with the upgraded graphics. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, consists of a bunch of different Halo games. You got Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, you got Halo 2 Anniversary, you got Halo 3, you have a Halo 3 ODST, you got Halo Reach, and Halo 4. So this is a living anthology of past Halo games, and it continues to receive regular updates and new content as more games age out of being commonly offered in the retail setting. If you've never played the Halo series or are looking for a reason to revisit this game, this would be the time. Take advantage of the optimized graphics for the Series X and S. Okay, so the next game is Ori and the Will of the Wisp. So Ori and the Will of the Wisp is a platform adventure using the Metroidvania style video game developed by Moon Studios and published by Xbox Game Studios. This is obviously launched on the Microsoft Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. So 8 months after its initial release, Ori and the Will of the Wisp received some impressive technical upgrades on the Xbox Series X and S. Primarily, if you play this game on the Xbox Series X, you can play this game in 6K upscaled at 60 frames per second, or you can play it at 4K running at 120 frames per second. This is probably one of the most beautiful games to play on Game Pass right now, and if you have a HDR capable TV, you are in for a treat. This game can be quite challenging at times, but if you want to be blown away on graphics, on art style, and just on the presentation of this game, you will not be disappointed. But it's not just how the game looks, it also just plays amazing. The controls are tight and fluid and super responsive. Ori and the Will of the Wisp is a must play, especially if you have an Xbox Series X or S. Now look no further. If you guys are looking for the epitome of optimized for Series X or S, you are looking at it. This is Gears 5. So Gears 5 is a third-person shooter video game developed by the Coalition and published by Xbox Game Studios for Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and Xbox Series X and S. It is the 6th installment of the Gears of War series, and it's the sequel to Gears of War 4. Now, Gears 5 got a complete revamp for optimized Series X and S, with increased resolution, better frame rates, better texture quality, improved shadows, and improved lighting. Gears 5 running on the Xbox Series X runs in 4K at 60 frames per second. This is a definite showpiece if you guys want to show off HDR capabilities on your TV, especially if you're running in 4K. This is just one of those cases where an already amazing game just got better. The story is great, the gameplay is amazing, the controls are tight, and the graphics are just beautiful. If you've never played Gears 5, this would be a perfect time. And again, if you played it in the past, well, get ready for a whole new experience on the Xbox Series X or S. This game would definitely be in my top 3 overall picks for optimized games for Series X and S. Alright, let's burn some rubber with Forza Horizon 4. Forza Horizon 4 initially launched in 2018, and it's a racing video game developed by Playground Games and published by Microsoft Studios. This game was originally released on October 2nd, 2018, and then 2 years later we get an enhanced version of the game which released on Xbox Series X and S on November 10th, 2020. The game is set in a fictionalized representation of the areas of Great Britain. It is the 4th Forza Horizon title and the 11th installment in the Forza series. I think that this game is the most beautiful game you can play right now on the Xbox Series S and X. On the Xbox Series X, this game runs in 4K at 60 frames per second. Yes, native 4K at 60 frames per second with improved lighting, reflections, and textures. I just love the open world map and just how detailed it is. The game is also noted for its introduction for challenging seasons to the series, as well as featuring several content expanding updates which have included new game modes. The amount of cars and customization is insane. And again, if you've never played Forza Horizon 4, this is a must play. And I would even go as far as to say that for people who aren't racing fans, you will fall in love with this game. It is that good. This is probably my top pick, and again, highly recommended. If you have Game Pass and an Xbox Series X or S, this is a must own and must play. So the next game is Star Wars Squadrons. So Star Wars Squadrons is a space combat game set in the Star Wars universe developed by Motive Studios and published by Electronic Arts. The game features both multiplayer game modes and a single player campaign. Set after Return of the Jedi, the campaign alternates between the New Republic's Vanguard Squadron and the Galactic Empire's Titan Squadron, both of which become involved in the Republic's Project Starhawk. Vanguard Squadron wants to ensure its completion, while the Titan Squadron attempts to destroy it. As you guys can see, Star Wars Squadrons is a space combat game played from a first-person perspective. So the player takes control of starfighters from either the Galactic Empire or the New Republic Navy. The cockpit represents vital gameplay information to the player. Now, if you're already a Star Wars fan and you love those first-person space combat games, you will definitely not be disappointed. The game receives some optimized Series X and X upgrades such as better resolution, better frame rate, better textures, improved shadows, and improved lighting. Once you master the art of the starfighter combat and this authentic piloting experience, you will definitely be coming back. And again, you can play with your friends, create that multiplayer experience, and have your own squadrons. Alright, so the next game is Destiny 2, which is a first-person shooter. This game is a free-to-play, online-only multiplayer first-person shooter video game developed by Bungie. It was originally released as a pay-to-play game in 2017, but with time it did come out on other platforms. This game is the sequel to 2014's Destiny and its subsequent expansion. Set in a mythic science fiction world, the game features a multiplayer, shared world environment with elements of role-playing games. So just like the original Destiny, Destiny 2's activities are divided among player versus environment and player versus player game types. I instantly fell in love with Destiny 2, the graphics blew me away, and the tight combat and controls are just amazing. A free roam patrol mode is also available for Destiny 2 for each destination, which feature a public event as well as activities not available in the original. If you enjoyed the original Destiny, you will definitely love Destiny 2. Now that was my list for my top 10 best games for Xbox Series X and S optimized, but I want to give some honorable mentions, starting with No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is an exploration survival game developed and published by Hello Games. This game is built around 4 pillars: exploration, survival, combat, and trading. If some of those aspects interest you, you will definitely enjoy playing No Man's Sky. What's unique about No Man's Sky is that players are free to perform within the entirety of a procedurally generated, deterministic open world universe, which includes over 18 quintillion planets. Yes, this world is just huge. Hello Games has done a tremendous job with the continual support and DLCs for this game. If exploration is your cup of tea, this is a must-own. You will not be disappointed with No Man's Sky. If interplanetary exploration is not your thing, well, you can just take your spaceship and just ride out into space. The next honorable mention is Tetris Effect, which is probably one of the most recognizable game in the history of gaming. Now, Tetris Effect is a tile-matching puzzle video game developed by Japanese studios Monstars and Resonair and published by Enhanced Games. But this is not your standard Tetris game. This game takes music, takes lighting, takes visual effects to a whole new level to give you an experience like you've never had before. There are 30 meticulously crafted levels that will send your brain on an experience like you've never had before. Tetris Effect amplifies this magical feeling of total immersion by surrounding you with fantastic, fully three-dimensional worlds that react and evolve based on how you feel and how you play. Another honorable mention is Dirt 5. So Dirt 5 is a racing video game developed and published by Codemasters. It is the 14th game in the Colin McRae Rally series and the 8th game to carry the Dirt title. This game was released for Microsoft and Windows as well as other platforms, and on November 6, 2020 for the Xbox Series X and S. Dirt 5 is a bold new off-road arcade racing experience, and if you're into those types of games, if you like the racing genre but on the off-road side, you will definitely enjoy Dirt 5. As part of the optimized for Series X and S, this game does give you the 120Hz compatibility. Of course, if you have a TV that's HDMI 2.1 ready. Okay, so the last honorable mention that's on my list, and maybe you guys are gonna say that I'm cheating because it's not really an optimized game for Series X or X, but I need to give props to Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is my favorite all-time first-person shooter. Although this game did not get an official patch for Xbox Series X or S, well, let me tell you something, it definitely feels like it did. So Doom Eternal is a first-person shooter game developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks. As you guys probably know, Microsoft owns Bethesda and all of its intellectual property. This is probably one of the best looking games on the Xbox Series X and S, even though this is an old generation games. On the Xbox Series X, it is running at 4K, 60 frames per second, and it's just a beautiful game to behold. This game is running on what's called id Tech, which is one of the best and most advanced game engines on the planet. Set sometime after the events of the 2016 game, the story follows the Doom guy once again on a mission to end Hell's consumption of Earth and foil the alien Marquis' plan to exterminate humanity. This game will probably be my top overall pick on Xbox Game Pass as a must play from day one. If you have not experienced Doom Eternal, it is a must play on the Xbox Series X and Series S. I'm really curious to see, with the addition of Bethesda to the Microsoft team, what the next Doom game is going to look like. I'm sure it's going to be great. They're both talented groups, and I can't wait to see what's next. Okay guys, so that's the video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you found some value on what I think were the top 10 best games you can play right now on Game Pass for the Xbox Series X or the Xbox Series S. Obviously, you guys saw from the list that these were optimized for Series X and S. And of course, with time, there will be more games added to this collection. So that's the video today. If you found some value, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. If you really liked the video, I would really appreciate a subscription to the channel. As always, like, subscribe, leave some comments, share this video, hit the notification bell. Have yourself a great day, have yourself a great night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.